everybody, and in this video we're going to be talking about Destiny 2 subclasses. Now I am going to be going over the subclasses and their skill trees and all that stuff that we saw from the gameplay premiere, but I also do want to just talk about the possibilities of all of these different skill trees, how I feel about the direction that they're taking subclasses in, and generally just nose deep dive into just thinking about the possibilities of subclasses and how awesome it could be, because I feel like they're going in a very, very, very good direction. So first things first, for anyone that hasn't seen a video like this before, I'm going to be going over the subclasses and what exactly you can choose from when it comes to perks within those subclasses. Now it is worth noting something that I thought that was really cool. With Warlocks, when you're choosing between the different skill clusters, you are picking between attunements. So you have Attunement of Sky, Attunement of Fire, or whatever it might be. For the Hunter, you have Ways. So you have Way of the Outlaw. Maybe you have Way of the Stripper Pole because of the new subclass, the Pole Dancer, which it will always be known as, forever. And then for Titans, you have Code of the Juggernaut, Code of the flannel towel. I don't know. And so those are the kind of things that we're having, which I think is really cool. Instead of just calling it a flat out skill tree, it's I'm going to be the attunement of this if I'm a warlock. I'm doing the way of this if I'm a hunter, and I'm using the code of this if I am a titan. Now let's jump into those delicious subclasses, starting out with the Dawnblade. Of course, we have Daybreak, which is the super. We have Healing Rift, where you can hold down circle, put down a pool, stand in that pool, and you can either heal yourself and your allies or empower them. The jumps and the grenades are the same, but the attunements is where things get super duper interesting. So first we have Igniting Touch, which is a powerful melee ability that ignites enemies and causes them to explode. Then we have Phoenix Dive, where if you hold circle while in air to quickly descend and regenerate health. Then we have Skyfire. While Daybreak is active, Descend causes explosive damage where you land. And lastly, we have Risen Angel. While in air, aim your weapons to hover in place for a short time. Dealing precision damage extends the duration. So that's Angel of Light, but it's even better because it extends the duration, which is just really cool. It's like such a cool thing. They made Angel of Light, took it, made it better. I absolutely love that. Now moving on to the other attunement, which we don't know the name of. I think that's probably because we don't have it filled out yet. We have Firestarter, powerful melee ability that damages enemies while also increasing your movement and reload speed. Wildfire, engage your enemies mid-flight, fire weapons and throw grenades while gliding. So now you can be a beautiful floofy princess and throw grenades of glory while you're floofing around. Next we have Everlasting Flames. Killing an enemy with Daybreak extends its duration. Why would you not want that? Like, that's anything where you can extend your super is never bad. It's just never a bad thing. And lastly, we have Blazing Dash, where if you press circle circle while mid-air, you will dodge. And if you play Destiny 1 and you've had a Twilight Garrison on your Titan, you will know that that is basically the same thing. Dawnblades are getting essentially an exotic piece of armor in one of their attunements, which I thought was pretty cool. Next, we have the Gunslinger. So everything is pretty much the same, but of course, now every single hunter has their class ability, which is essentially a shade step. Now, what's really cool is that the marksman's dodge, when it's essentially McCree, it's just McCree, okay? It's just McCree. So if you don't know what McCree does, you don't play Overwatch. If you shoot someone, you're in an epic gunfight, you're missing shots, they're missing shots, and you need to reload, you can do your little marksman's dodge, your little shade step, and it will reload your ammo. So you can continue to fight while they're struggling, trying to reload their weapons. So that's super duper cool. The other one that you can choose from is called Gambler's Dodge, where if you dodge near enemies, it will generate melee energy. So So that's really cool. It's like they took Shade Step, they put it on a longer cooldown, but now it actually does more than just dodge. It actually does other things. So I thought that was really cool. Now let's jump into the ways of the hunter, in this case, ways of the outlaw. So first up, we have bombs for bullseye, where precision hits generate grenade energy. You will quickly learn that it's all about precision hits when it comes to Gunslinger. That's how Gunslinger's always been. It's about being precise. Then we have six shooter, where golden gun can be fired quickly up to 6 times, but has a shorter duration, which I've heard a lot of people say, how can that be useful in PvP if there's just 4v4, you're only fighting 4 other people, why would you need 6 shots? Well, it's just if you miss one, then it's really good for that. I'm sure we've all been in situations where we've been surrounded by a bunch of bad guys and we're trying to shoot off our golden gun shots, we miss one, and then we're screwed. Well, this gives us some space to mess up, which is kind of against the Gunslinger's code because we're all about precision hits and stuff, but it's fine. We all need some security blankets. Next up, we have Explosive Knife, where you throw a knife at enemies that explode shortly after impact when melee energy is full. And lastly, we have Chains of Woe, where precision kills increase weapon reload speed for you and nearby allies. So you will quickly realize that with this tree and also the other skill tree, or ways, should I say, Gunslingers are being given a bunch of different options to actually help their team out, and people always make fun of Gunslingers should be an awful at stuff like that. So in this way, which we don't know the name of, again because it's not filled in, we have Knife Juggler, where you throw a knife at enemies when a melee energy is full, and precision kills will immediately recharge it. That's something that we're pretty familiar with already. Then we have Line 'em Up, where precision hits with golden gun increase its damage and extend its duration. That's gonna be so freaking good for PvE, so good. Then we have Crowd Pleaser, where precision hits with golden gun generate orbs of light for your allies. Again, amazing for PvE. And then we have Gunslinger's Trance, where you enter a trance and with each precision kill reduces your cooldown of golden gun. So I think this specific way, we don't know what it's called, way of the helper maybe? Way of the helpful guy? I don't know. But with this way, it seems very good for PvE. You can hit precision hits with your golden gun. It makes it do more damage, makes you keep it for longer, and then precision kills will reduce your golden gun, so you can hopefully have it up more often in PvE. So I thought that was really cool. That is bringing Gunslinger to be super duper useful in PvE instead of just, hey, do you have Celestial Nighthawk? No? Switch off golden gun. And lastly, we have the Striker Titan, where we'll be taking a look at the different codes, especially Code of the Juggernaut, because we don't know the name of the other one. Of course, they have a class ability, and that is 2 different barriers. One is a short barrier where you can shoot over the top of, and another one is a really big barrier that just blocks absolutely everything. No one's gonna be able to shoot through that. It's really good for cutting off objective points, for example. In Countdown, you can just block a doorway with your big shield, and then you can watch another shield with your grenades and your guns. So it's very, very, very good for tactical play. Now, let's go into the, I want to call them attunements so bad. I want to call all of these things attunements, but it's just warlocks that have attunements. Let's get into the codes of the Striker Titan and see what we're going to be getting from the different clusters. So of course, first we have Code of the Juggernaut, which is the one that we were actually able to play with. We have Reversal, where melee kills immediately trigger health regen. We then have Knockout, where breaking an enemy shield increases your melee range. No more T-Rex arms. And then we have Trample, where Fist of Havoc lasts longer while sprinting, and killing enemies with Fist of Havoc extends its duration. And finally, we have Frontal Assault, which is a powerful melee punch that grants increased weapon stability. Now, in the other code that we weren't able to use, we have Shoulder Charge. You guys should all know what that is if you've played Destiny 1. It's basically exactly the same as it was in Destiny 1. We also have Aerial Strike, where Fist of Havoc deals more damage the longer it's in the air. We then have Magnitude, which increases the duration of pulse grenades, lightning grenades, and aftermath. And then, of course, how useless would magnitude be if we didn't get Aftermath in this specific skill tree? I'm a rap god. Aftermath, a Fist of Havoc, disorients enemies and leaves a damage-dealing field in its wake. Now, before I wrap up the video, I do want to talk about the possibilities of where these skill trees could go and how I feel about this direction of skill trees instead of the standard, here's a list, pick from it. But before I do, this is Triple Rex gameplay that he allowed me to use, so thank you so much, Triple Rex. If you, for some reason, have no idea who Triple Rex is, I will have a link in the description to his Twitter, his Twitch, and his YouTube stuff. Please go and follow him. He's an amazing guy, an amazing player, and his gameplay was just so nice to have because I couldn't use this auto rifle to save my damn life. So let's talk about these skill trees. Now, I personally really like that they went in this direction. I know a lot of people have said they don't like it because they feel it's going to bring about less customization when it comes to players creating builds. Now, I take that argument and I say to you, how much customization and variety do we have in current Destiny with the skill trees that we have? I would answer that with not very many. If you're a Night Stalker, there's pretty much just one skill variation that you use in order to be competitive in PvP. It was exactly the same with Blade Dancer. It was exactly the same with Warlocks for the most part. It's the same with Striker Titans. Are you using pulse grenades? No, most people are using lightning grenades. Are you using fusion grenades? Okay, you get my point. There's not much variety right now with what we currently have. Now, I personally really like this because I feel it's going to allow Bungie to balance things a lot easier. And the example that I use for this is think of Firebolt Sunsingers in their prime time. Firebolts themselves were not that bad of a grenade. They did a good amount of damage, but they weren't OP by any means. It was when you put Firebolts with Viking Funeral and all this burning that made them way too freaking strong. It made them just way too strong. Now, when it comes to balancing that, it's like, okay, well, we just have to nerf Viking Funeral. We have to nerf that. What I'm hoping with these new skill trees is that instead of just nerfing something, they'd be able to completely balance it because all of these things have to work together. You have to choose the cluster of skills instead of choosing from a skill tree. So I'm hoping that it just makes it way easier to balance and it doesn't just result in the nerfs that we've had that just stack on top of each other. You can actually balance an entire class. If this class, this specific subclass group of skills is too strong, then they can balance that whole thing to make it get back in line with where it should be instead of just nerfing a single thing. So that's why I personally really like it. I totally get that maybe you don't want to use Angel of Light. When it comes to the Dawnblade, you don't want to use that. You want to use one from the other skill tree. But I think that this is overall going to be better for the health of the game and it's going to make it easier to balance. So I'm personally all about that. Also, another reason why I really like it, and I'm getting so excited, and you'll see why I'm excited in a minute because I go on a tangent. And anyway, yes, so I'm excited for it because when you look at the page where it has the super and then it branches off into these clusters of 4 skills that you get to choose from, you can totally see that they can add more of these clusters of skills. Like, that seems very easy to do. Well, not easy to do, but it looks like it's very possible. There's plenty of space on the page. You could even add like a press R1 to go to another page with even more of these clusters of skills to choose from. And that is super exciting to me because with the regular skill tree that we had in Destiny 1, sure, they could expand on it, but it didn't exactly seem like there was any space for any kind of expansions to happen. Whereas with this skill tree that we have in Destiny 2, it totally looks like they could add more variants to each of these subclasses. And that is really exciting to me. When we were at the podcast, if you don't know, we do a podcast every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific. I will have a link for that in the description as well. But on the podcast, I was talking about maybe if you're a hunter, you can go to the Nessus planet, which is the hunter planet, and you find a treasure map, or you go into a dungeon, and at the end of this dungeon, you fight a boss, which gives you a new cluster of skills to choose from in your Gunslinger skill tree. Like, that is so exciting to me. The possibilities of that is absolutely endless. Well, can you imagine? Can you imagine just going into a dungeon being like, guys, I just found a whole new set of skill trees for me to choose from for my gunslinger, and then I was going, oh my god, where was this dungeon? Show me. Like, I can just imagine the excitement that would happen from all of that, and that is just amazing. Really, the possibilities are absolutely endless when it comes to this way of doing a skill tree, and I love that, and that's why I like this change so much, and I'm super duper excited for it. Better balancing and more ways to build upon each subclass by adding new sets of skills to it. So that is it for the video. It's been like 15 minutes. That's fine. I wanted to make it like a pretty short video, but I'm not good at making short videos, so hi. Thank you guys so much for watching. In the description you'll find a bunch of links to Destiny 2 gameplay, Triple Rec stuff, the community podcast, all of those things. So if you want to find more Destiny 2, that'll be in the description, as well as all more cool stuff. All the cool stuff's in the description and you should check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm excited and I'm rambling, so I'm gonna go now. I love you guys, and I'll speak to you awesome people later. Bye.